Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Miranda. I'm the Talent Strategy Lead here at Stanford Healthcare. And welcome. Welcome to today's Stanford Live event featuring our radiation therapy team. And we're really excited for you to learn about radiation therapy and our department and our leaders. And we have a lot of information to share. So please, we have a chat. And if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to drop your questions or comments into the chat. And as we go through today's sessions, we will try to address all of the questions today. If we are not able to address your questions, we'll make sure to jot them down and follow up at a later time. But without further ado, I wanted to introduce our team and we'll get started. So, all right. So, Talia, if you would
Hello.
please introduce yourself. Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Talia Tatum. I am the manager for radiation oncology at our East Bay location. I'm located about 34 miles east of Palo Alto, the main campus, and I oversee the radiation therapists here at our satellite site. We also have our team of nurses, dosimetrists, physicists, and other ancillary staff.
Thank you, Talia. And I'm going to turn it over to Jay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jay Lee. I just wanted to confirm: are we just doing a short introduction, or do we want to also give information about our sites right now?
Oh, actually, just a short introduction, Jay.
Sure, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Jay Lee. I am the manager at our Stanford location in South Bay for our cancer center, and I've been with us. I've been with Stanford for about almost 2 years now.
Thank you, Jay. And Brianna, please introduce yourself.
Hello,
Brianna.
everyone. So, my name is Brianna. I am one of the senior recruiters here at Stanford, and I support radiation oncology with the radiation therapy roles in Palo Alto, San Jose, and Emeryville. So, thank you for joining today's Stanford Live.
Yes, thank you for that brief introduction. So now we're actually getting to know our leaders. So I'd like to first introduce Talia Tatum, and Talia is our manager of radiation therapy at our East Palo Alto campus. And so Talia, we'd like you to start with what led you to your profession, what led you to Stanford Healthcare, and what keeps you here at Stanford Healthcare.
um, when you said that, I was like, okay, I have to go back a long time ago and think about this. So originally, I would say when I was first looking for a career after high school, when I was in college, always knew I wanted to do something in the medical field. I initially thought I was going for physical therapy. I did all the physical therapy prerequisites, and at the time, physical therapy was very popular. So there was a 2 year wait to get into the program. So I actually have a really good friend of mine from my hometown. She's actually a dosimetrist now. She found an information session that University of Michigan was having on radiation therapy, and we went to this information session, and the program director at the time, she was giving an overview of what radiation therapy was. They were trying to recruit for their program. Like at the time, I believe the class that was enrolled, they had like 2 or 3 students. So it wasn't, I would say, a very popular field at the time. So they were really trying to do some recruiting. So I ended up doing observation hours at the University of Michigan Hospital, and I was blown away. You had patient care, like hands-on patient care, as well as technology. And it was just so amazing. It stood out to me. And I knew from doing, we did 2 days of observation. I knew then I was like, okay, I'm going to change my major and go into radiation therapy. And the way how I got to Stanford, I came to Stanford, it was January 6, I remember 2020, and I took a locum position. I had never done locum work before. I was a therapist for about 16, 17 years at the time. And I was like, this is something I've always wanted to do to check off my bucket list. So I said, I'm going to go and do locum work. Um, and it's weird how things work out. I feel like, the universe always has a plan for you, because I was initially supposed to take a contract with Kaiser, and they pulled out at the last minute. And the recruiter said, hey, Stanford actually, they need help. They're looking for a therapist. Would you be interested? And I feel like when anyone hears the name Stanford, you immediately, you're like, absolutely. Yes. I immediately thought about all the things that I could learn. And then having been trained in academic center, having worked in academic centers, I was very excited for this opportunity. So like I said, I came in January 2020, and I've been here. I did not leave. I feel like I was in a very unique position. I always say I had one of the best interviews anyone could hope for, because I was here for about 15 months as a locum radiation therapist. And then they did have a position that was available, and I applied for it, and I decided to stay here. So that's how I came to Stanford. And one of the things that keeps me here, of course, like I mentioned, I was always interested in patient care and the technology. And I would definitely say Stanford, if you are interested in technology, patient care research, then this is the place that you want to be. We are always doing things ahead of the curve, the first to do things in the radiation oncology field. And it definitely will keep you engaged. And it's going to be a new day every day when you're here at Stanford.
Thank you so much, Talia, for that. What a wonderful journey to get here. And we are so fortunate to have you here as one of our leaders. And again, thank you so much for that wonderful insight. And I'm going to turn it over to Jay.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Just, it's funny. I always wanted to be a teacher growing up. And so I thought from the get-go that my path was um, to go towards that direction. I have a background actually in literature. I have an English major degree. And, with that, I remember teaching fourth grade at a nonprofit organization, and it was one of the worst experiences of my life, actually. And so rather than continuing that, they offered if I'd be interested in working, with the adult literacy program, and then being, that was something that I was really interested in. So I did that, and it was great at the time. But I did get to learn about other departments like the public health sectors as well, and got to learn a little bit of information about that. And then what kind of made me look past, like, I guess further in my career, was the fact that there were a lot of layoffs, and it was really hard to keep all the grants. So I saw people that I worked with, kind of losing their jobs. So that really did strike fear in me. And so I did some internet research, and I remember reading about radiation therapy, and that spoke very closely to my heart, because just the year before I had found out that my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And so she's doing much better now. So I'm very happy about that. But that's what really got me started in the journey towards finding about radiation therapy. And, the journey wasn't as simple as, one would imagine. So while I was working, when I looked into schools, when I finally decided this is what I wanted to do, I was looking into programs, but a lot of the programs were no longer accepting new applications, just because of the time of the year it was. But there was one program I remember in Florida that was, and I went there and I applied for the program. It was just a simple like aptitude test, and it really took like 10 minutes to complete. And I thought, well, that was easy. And, before I left Florida, I thought, why not just use this time to also observe a site nearby and just kind of ask them about, the program. And when I did that, I remember the chief therapist over there was telling me not to apply to the school, and she didn't think it would be a good idea, just because she didn't think that the school was really good. And she asked me where I was from, and I told her I was originally from New York City, and that's where my family lives. And so she told me that there's a great program out there in New York City called, Memorial Sloan Kettering. They have a really good program there, and it's literally a fraction of the cost. And so I remember going back to school just to get my prerequisites done, just so I could take the test, just to get interviewed. And I was so grateful that I was one of the few people to get accepted. So I felt really grateful to follow what she recommended was the right path to go towards the field, rather than taking the what I looked at at the time which would have been the easier route. And I'm so grateful for that for that information and for that advice, because it led me to where I am now. I got trained at Memorial Sloan Kettering. I worked there as well. I learned a lot. I gained a lot of experiences being there, and I ended up working also a little bit with protons. My previous job, I worked at Dartmouth Health. I was a manager over there, and that was a really good experience as well too, because I got to kind of experience outside of how they did things outside of Memorial Sloan Kettering, and then also just kind of working with different people regarding some of the research that they did, working with different team members, managing different sites between 2 different states, between New Hampshire and Vermont. So it was a great experience. And it's then I was just kind of always been interested in actually applying for positions in California, because I'm not a winter person. Actually, I actually don't enjoy being in the snow, funny enough. And so when I found out about Stanford, I applied for the position, and I'm here now. And I've been really grateful for my experience here. And one of the things I really do appreciate about the culture at Stanford is, their willingness to want people's voices heard. We always try to make sure that we do our best to get the feedback of our teams. I don't think we do press ganio anymore, but we did use a survey where, we got not only the patient's feedback, but we also got the team's feedback to make sure we try to work on the things that we can improve on as an organization. And it's funny enough, that's not something that every organization offers. So I thought that was really great that they valued the feedback of our teams. And what keeps me here really isn't just the weather, of course, but it's really the people around me who have the same passion, and making sure that we're doing everything we can, not only for our patients, but also for each other.
Thank you, Jay. That was wonderful. My goodness, a teacher at the very beginning. Well, you're a manager, and as a leader, being able to teach others and help them through with their journey. So thank you for that, both you and Talia. So I'm going to turn it over very quickly to Brianna, because she is someone that's very important on this path to Stanford. She's our amazing recruiter. So I'd like her to give more insights into who she is.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so what led me to Stanford? Well, I actually got a call from a recruiter, and when they reached out to me to share this opportunity with me, I was beyond myself, because I was like, Stanford, what a great organization, what a great opportunity to be able to contribute and work for them. And I said, I have to go. I have to go and work for this amazing organization. Now, initially, I will say that I had put a timeline on myself and said, you know what, I'm going to stay there for 2 years, and then, I'll try something else, because I wasn't too sure about Northern California. Well, let's just say that in February next year, I will be celebrating 10 years. Northern California is a beautiful area. Stanford is an amazing organization. And what keeps me here, there are several things. So I think at Stanford, there is a lot of opportunity for professional development and for professional growth. And there's a lot of support for that, whether it be certifications for specialties, or just additional training. We've got training for project management, at least on this side. Things like, we've got like the fund committees. We also have, even currently, we have this team meeting that we do once a day. And it's really for us and our voice to be heard on process improvements and, things to really help our day to day. So I do feel like our voices are heard. And I think that's really important in an organization. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Brianna. Thank you so much. And so Our next set of questions are going to be geared toward Jay and Talia to learn more about their department and learn more about the work that they do in radiation therapy. So, our next question, I'll turn it over to Talia, is if you can tell us about your department. Tell us, the special things that go on, but an overview for our viewers today. That would be great. Thank you, Talia.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm glad you picked me to start first because I am the smallest out of all the three sites. And usually, when we have interviews, I feel like that's our structure. Like, I'll present, Jay will present, and then Chris will present because he's over Palo Alto, the mothership of everything. And I feel like it just kind of helps draw the picture for people a little better. So, like I mentioned, I manage our East Bay Cancer Center. So I'm about 34 miles east of Palo Alto. We have one machine. It's been about, it will be 2 years in February. So a little over a year and a half. We have a brand new True Beam machine. We have the capability of doing very specialized treatments like SBRT or SRS on the machine. It's also equipped with Vision RT for surface guided radiation therapy. We treat about, I would say a good average for us is about 25 patients a day. We start at 8 a.m. and our schedule usually runs about 8 to 4. We do have 3 full-time radiation therapists, and we usually fill our fourth position. We have about 4 per diems that we utilize to kind of fill in that fourth role. I would say my job is probably about 80% admin, 20% treating, where I'm actually on the floor treating and working with patients. So between myself and the per diem, we'll fill up that fourth radiation therapist spot because we do have to have 2 therapists on the machine at all time, as well as we like to have 2 therapists when we're simulating the patients. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have one clinical nurse. We have one medical assistant or PCC, as we use the term here at Stanford. We have 2 physicians. We have one physician who's here full time. Our medical director, his time is split through the various sites throughout the network. As well as we have a dosimetrist, a physicist, 2 nurse coordinators, our front desk staff, all of like the auth billing team. They are remote or housed in Palo Alto. So I would say we have, we're that small community feel, community center, but we also have the luxury of benefiting, from the resources from Stanford, from the main mothership. So it's very nice. I would say our site is more of that very like close knit feel. While we do rely on emails a lot, there's a lot of opportunity where we communicate to each other in person because you can just walk around the corner and talk to the person. Whereas, if you're in a bigger center or bigger department, you rely a lot more on emails because it's a lot more spread out. So, yeah, our site, we treat everything. We do not treat pediatrics here. We do, like I mentioned, we can treat SBRT, SRS. We treat adults to geriatric patients, no peds, and we treat everything. So it's nice having that new machine here because it gave us that capability where we can do SBRT and SRS. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything else that we do. We even have the capability. We just recently did a TLI patient, people in the radiation therapy world. You'll know what that is. We typically would save those cases to have them be treated in Palo Alto, but we recently we did our first case here. So that was very exciting as well. So there's a lot of growth going on in the East Bay. Like I speak to my site specifically, just having one machine. We also have a joint venture with Sutter Hospital. And I don't know how many people outside of Stanford know that. So I do just want to highlight that because I know we're trying to, have people interested in coming to work with us. Stanford and Sutter, we do have a joint venture. We have, like I said, our medical director, he covers over at Eden Hospital in Castro Valley. They have 2 machines. We also have an affiliation with the site in Berkeley. And then growth, big picture, there will be a site built in Oakland. It's like 170,000 square foot comprehensive cancer center, one-stop shop for patients in the East Bay. That's coming within the next couple years. So that will be Stanford and Sutter. Initially, we will have 4 vaults in that cancer center. Initially, we will start off the ground with 3 vaults being utilized. So there's tons of growth happening in the East Bay that we're very, very excited about. So say that's us in the East Bay in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you, Talia. That is amazing. And I appreciate you sharing about the growth and the new site that they did have the groundbreaking. And you're right, should be done in the next couple of years. But, as we continue to grow, and which means that opportunities will grow. So, but thank you for that, Talia. You sounds like you have such an amazing team. I'm going to turn it over to Jay now to learn more about his department.
All right, thank you. So yeah, at South Bay we have 2 TrueBeam machines. One of them has the integrated with the surface guidance system called Vision RT that we utilize, and we're in the works of trying to add that to the other machine. And we have a really great unique situation actually regarding our simulation, where we do share that space with radiology. And when I first arrived, I thought it was a little odd because I hadn't really had to share our simulation in the past with radiology before. So it was my first time working with the radiology team to try to coordinate how we could fit our patients in, whether we're going to get enough in, and the time also, whether it's going to fit the schedules. But it's been a really great experience, to say the least, because I gotten to know the other departments. In the past, I really didn't understand what radiology, like how they operated. I didn't really know the team members over there, but kind of getting to know the techs over there, getting to know their managers has been a really great experience for me. And it's just another layer of another great team that we're able to work with and kind of lean on each other and support one another. We do have 7 full-time therapists at the moment, and 1 part-time therapist as well, per diem wise. And then we also have a position that was recently approved to hire another per diem. So if we are fully staffed, we would have 7 full-time therapists and 2 per diem therapists to really help with any of the time off requests that we'll get, especially during the holidays. That would be super helpful. And as Talia mentioned, same with myself, I would say that's pretty accurate. 80% we dedicate our time, to admin work, but the other 20% we are expected to kind of help out. And that's really been, something that I've appreciated, because I felt like it helped me really get closer to our team, really be in there with our team, and also not only just working with my team, but working with different teams as well, whether it's Talia's team over at Pleasanton, or whether it's with Chris's team at Palo Alto. I've been able to work at different sites with different members to just, help out wherever I can. But still having enough time for us to, do our administrative duties as well. And I think what stands out, like Talia mentioned, we're all going to be a little biased, and I think our team is great as well at South Bay. And, one testament of that is just kind of the events that we put together. So we'll have, potlucks done. Even the doctors will organize events. So the last event that one of our chief physician organized was a karaoke night. And that was something we really appreciated, and everyone had a lot of fun, and we were able to talk about, his singing for days and weeks and months, actually. That was a blast, and we can't wait to see what the next event is going to be. So yeah, we try to make sure we maintain not only, like being professional at work, but also trying to find time to do fun things with each other, to team build. Another thing that I really appreciated about something that Stanford has is a culture club. And what they do is we'll get together. It's just full of volunteers, people who want to volunteer, kind of get involved with the culture club. And some of the events that they organize will be, just some awareness for certain holidays. It's something that they just feel like could be really helping with engagement. So we'll do barbecues, we'll do even, for like Chinese New Year, we might have, some bubble tea for the staff, and we, have a budget so that we can, kind of prioritize for the whole fiscal year about how we're going to organize and how we're going to plan that out. And that's been really engaging, to the point where it was so popular that our building at South Bay decided to have their own club to do something similar for engagement, and we called it the CCSB Connect, so that we can organize other events that culture club's not covering, so that we can even fill more days with fun events. And it's been a really great experience. And I'm biased, so let me share some feedback from one of our last locums that we had onboarded. And we had this person onboarded because we had a staff just go out on FMLA for a short time. So we had someone join us for 3 months, and this person's feedback was this was the best assignment he had ever had. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. His words, not mine. But yeah, we have a really lovely team, and that's something that really did stand out for me as soon as I joined.
All right, thanks, Jay. Thank you so much for that. Sounds like, again, you mix work and fun in a very good way, and keeps everyone lighthearted. Even doing the hard work that they do every day. So thank you so much for sharing. And so I'm going to turn it over to Talia, because she's going to share a little bit about our other department. We have Chris Olson, who could not join us today, but I'd like you to learn more about another team that supports our overall radiation therapy services. So Talia, if you wouldn't mind sharing just some brief information about Chris's area. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. And I'll have Jay keep me honest here. I feel like he has more time in Palo Alto right now. Like I mentioned earlier, I started as a locum in Palo Alto, so I would say it does have a special place in my heart. I was able to work alongside the therapists that were there at the time, like I said, for about 15 months. And I would just say, if you like a fast-paced environment, if you like seeing new and exciting things, Palo Alto is the place like you want to be. You're going to see everything there. I believe right now there's about 27 radiation therapists. I feel like when we're fully staffed, 30 is a good number for Palo Alto. As far as the machines, technologies, modalities that we have in Palo Alto, we have 3 true beams. There are 2 CyberKnife machines, a brand new CyberKnife department in the Neuro building. Very, very nice. 1 reflection machine that will be a PET LINAC, so it has a PET capability. There's a V-Ray machine, which is MRI capability. They have a very robust IORT program, very robust HDR program. There are 2 CT SIMs. I'm just trying to make sure I don't forget anything. GE and a Siemens. There is a project going on right now. One of the CT rooms will be upgraded to have a new Siemens going in there shortly. They do have Vision RT capability on the newest TrueBeam. We will be putting Vision RT into some of the other TrueBeams. And then protons will be coming next year. So Palo Alto is very, very unique because I just rattled off a lot of different modalities for people in the radiation oncology field out there that will watch this. I feel like that is something very unique and special about Palo Alto. Any modality that you are interested in, you can find it in Palo Alto. If you're interested in research, you definitely want to be in Palo Alto. Like, it is a research haven. There are so many things going on, like Jay spoke to as far as the culture, and Brianna mentioned too about process improvement. If that is something that is your passion, we have lots of committees where, we want people to sign up. We want volunteers to sign up for process improvement committees. We have our own dedicated quality leader in our department for radiation oncology that has been a huge partner with us, with Palo Alto, as well as the network sites, in helping us make sure we have standards, that we're following those standards, that we're looking at things from a different lens, asking us those tough questions like, how can we get better? How can we improve things? There's just like there's a lot of growth going on in Palo Alto. So I always feel like if you know that is the type of personality you are, where you want to be where the action is happening, Palo Alto is the place for you to be. And then I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna let Jay jump in and just see if I missed anything, because I don't want to do a disservice to Palo Alto.
No, and
There.
yeah, and
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that description, Talia. Just wanted to add a little bit regarding that as well, right? Like, I think Pleasanton and South Bay in its own right, we are, we are busy in our own right as well. I think what's unique about Palo Alto is just all the research that's going on. We have residents here, and not only all the different modalities and all the different equipment that you'll be working with, but also the different types of treatment that we do here. It may be things that you had never seen anywhere else. One of the things that I keep saying that I'm going to try to encourage for next year is to share our experience about some of the unique type of treatments that we do here, some of the research that we do here, so that we can share it with the rest of the oncology family, across the country. But yeah, the other thing I did want to also include is, as Talia was mentioning about our proton site machine being built up for next year, it'll be the first of its kind, where we're going to be treating protons in an upright seated position. So we would love to share that with the community, and just kind of make sure people are aware of some of the great things that we're doing here. And then on top of that, part of the committees, one of the things that we always want to encourage is to get feedback, to get the therapists involved, so they could join committees like standard of work committees, where if there's a process improvement, we're not only just asking feedback from one group, but we're asking multiple groups to come together to kind of come up with the best practice, and led by not only just the leadership team, but also, as Talia mentioned, there's a quality person where that person's also going to help make sure that everything's running as they're supposed to be, everything's organized, everything's structured, and still like having fun while we're doing it as well. And we're coming up with some of these meetings are just fairly new. For me, Talia and Chris, the three of us working together, we're fairly a young team, a new team, to say the least, because we haven't really worked together for so long. But just in the short time, we've seen, we were able to implement so many new groups, so many new projects, especially process improvement, and the process where we're getting the therapists involved, whether it's a quality meeting, whether it's a standard of work meeting, whether it's even a Vision RT meeting. We just wanted to make sure that we have adequate opportunity for our staff to not only be involved, and then, we're also talking about future projects. And by future, I mean just in a few months, where we'll incorporate even disease site leadership teams, where we're going to have different people from all modalities come together in their specialty, and talk about any improvements or current workflows, and just making sure that it's standardized. So yeah, we're really excited just to see how much change that's being made here, all the growth opportunities here, all the ways that you could even learn different modalities and different equipment and get that experience. Really, it's never a dull moment here for sure. And they have a really good team of great doctors, great coworkers, and just a really great atmosphere to be involved with.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate all that information. And Talia, you add some additional information you'd like to share?
Yeah, just continuing down the line, we're talking about the different modalities. I was going to say one of the things that really stood out to me when I came here was the TBI treatments, and how Stanford, we like again, we're very fortunate to work with very smart physicians, very smart, world-renowned physicists. And it's like you have all these people in our department, and sometimes, you know, you work with these people, you may take them for granted, but we have one of our physicists develop this VMAT TBI protocol where you can treat patients where they're laying down on a table. We call it the spinning Manny. It's kind of like into, like, if you've heard of Lazy Susan, you may have in your cabinet or on the table. It could turn around in a circle. So one of our machinists they were able to develop a tabletop that could spin. And that is so amazing and just fortunate, because we do treat a lot of pediatric patients at the hospital next door, Lucille Packard. And just for patients that have to be treated with this specific type of treatment, it's very beneficial. It's very safe. I'm used to doing them different. We call it like a fish bowl or something. You'll have a patient where they have to lay down in this big giant booth. You have to help them up onto the stairs to crawl into this booth. And it's very cumbersome. But when I came here and I saw the technique that they were using, it blew me away. And I was like, wow, like this is something like you don't get to see every day. And I do know, because of the research and the way that the physicists have developed this treatment, this is definitely something that other places are beginning to adopt, which again is better for patients, is more efficient for patients. And then I forgot to mention, we also have an affiliation with the VA hospital, again, in Palo Alto. So in Palo Alto, there are just so many resources, so many affiliations. It's amazing. And then I think later we'll get to, as far as our onboarding and different educational opportunities that we have with the vendors that we're affiliated with as well.
Thank you, Talia. And I'm going to turn it back to Jay.
Just one last thing I wanted to add, training our team is also extremely important to us. We try to make sure we try to dedicate time for vendors to be on site, to block out the machine so that they could spend, not interrupted time with the vendors, so that they could really work closely with them. So even just with our upgrade with our ViewRay, we made sure that we had adequate time for our team to step away and spend, hours in the day with the vendors as well, so that they can get the training that they need. And on top of that, even myself, for example, I'm here at Palo Alto currently because I want to continue some of the training, additional training after the vendors leave, to make sure that the teams all feel comfortable. And that's something that all of the managers are willing to provide for all teams across all sites. And that, to me, was a really unique approach, not only to just expect the vendors to come and train, but also relying on the managers to follow up and, asking any trying to give additional support as well. And one thing I just wanted to add also that was kind of unique, that stood out in my mind, we do have regular meetings, especially with our therapists. We might have staff meetings or we might have therapy meetings. But in our last therapy meeting, we had an all RTT meeting that we had for about an hour long. And I thought it was very engaging. But one thing that really stood out was the doctor, one of our oncologists was present, and they wanted to make sure that she was able to update some of the work that the doctors were working on for process improvement, for any quality improvements that they were working on, and then also asking for feedback from the therapist, any ideas that they could share that she could bring back to the team. I thought was really great. And then one other, we do a lot of other things, so I'm going to say one other thing constantly, but another thing we do is we also have town hall meetings where we do block out an hour of our schedule, so that everyone during this hour once a month can meet, so that they're all given the same updates, so that we're all in the room together, kind of talking about any projects we're working on, any things that stand out that we wanted to bring up, so that the information gets shared with our entire team together. And that, to me, is a really unique approach compared to other places I worked at. So that's something I thought was really worth mentioning.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, and Talia as well. And gosh, I've just learned so much myself. Just enjoyed hearing about, all these amazing things like the town hall you just mentioned, Jay. That's amazing, and resources, and just supporting your team during their time with us, continuing them to grow and develop, and then I love it. Process improvement. We can always do better. So thank you both again for this last half an hour, just sharing all this information. I'd like to turn it over now to Brianna and have her reintroduce herself and talk about some opportunities that we have available. So I'm going to turn it over to Brianna.
Thank you, Michelle. So I just wanted to share with everyone first, thank you again for joining us, watching this video. As a senior recruiter, I am available to answer any questions about opportunities, whether it's about, positions that we have available now in Palo Alto and San Jose, or, if you're looking to make a move in the next year or so. I'm happy to talk about the area. So you can reach out to me directly. We'll be putting some contact information on this event. If you want to just apply directly, of course, that's available as well. And you can do that at stanfordhealthcarecareers.org. Another exciting thing I want to share with you is that tomorrow, so that's Thursday, October the 10th, from 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific time, we are going to be having a virtual hiring event. It's really just an opportunity to chat with our leaders for about 15, 20 minutes. You'll have an opportunity to talk one-on-one with them, ask them about the department in more detail, sort of a day in the life, anything that you might be curious about. So please join us. If you're not able to join us again, reach out to me directly at any point with any of your questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brianna. And again, thank you everyone who has joined us today. So as Brianna mentioned, we have an amazing event tomorrow from 12 to 2. And I just shared some information in our chat, and I'm actually going to drop the registration for the event. And it's a very brief registration, ask some basic questions, and we hope that you will please join us to meet with these wonderful leaders about some opportunities that we have for radiation therapy. And I wanted to share a comment, and we appreciate Diane Johnson. She mentioned the use of technology, collaboration across teams and systems, and the research you are doing, not only going to provide the best patient care, but you're proving hope. So she loves this. And so I just wanted to share her comment. And again, thank you, Diane, for that comment. We, again, appreciate everyone's time for joining us. Again, thank you, Talia Tatum. Thank you, Jay Lee. Thank you, Brianna. As Brianna mentioned, she is available. She is our outstanding senior talent consultant that you can reach out to at any time on LinkedIn and connect with her, because she will respond and she will answer all of your questions. And if there's questions that are definitely geared towards more of the science around radiation therapy, we have amazing experts like Jay, Talia, and Chris. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks again.
Thank you.